Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the eSports Report. I'm Chris Puckett. We just talked competitive Titanfall. If you didn't know about it, there's $1,500 up for grabs on the free ladder. Also, May 24th, go over to MLG.tv/play. Sign up for the Titanfall tournament. May 24th, $500 free-to-enter tournament. If you're just getting into Titanfall, you got about a week and a half to prep up before you get into the competitive scene. From Titanfall, though, to Halo. The Halo series is basically what MLG was built on. Back in 2004, 2002 even, we were playing competitive Halo. That was on the local level. 2003, MLG throws its first tournament. Halo CE was the flagship title for that event. From there, we started the 2004 circuit, which I was picked up for. Same thing with Adam Apicella. Going into 2005, all the way up to the last few years. It's been nothing but Halo. Now that Call of Duty seems to be dominating the FPS scene, a lot of people have forgotten about our roots and where we came from. But today, there's a whole lot of hype on Twitter, and it's all around the next step for Halo. The game's been falling off in the last two titles, but today's announcement has a lot of people thinking this next one might help bring it back. Today, I want to welcome two good buddies. We got Saucy Swords as well as FlameSword joining the show. Two longtime Halo fans, players, and FlameSword, he's a champion with that beard. There was no beard back when you were winning tournaments with Status Quo. FlameSword, what do you think of the news today that Halo 5 will be coming out in 2015?
Pretty excited for it, to be honest. With this Halo, I've kind of been laid back a little bit and trying not to hear too much news about it. Because I felt the last time after Halo 3, I started keeping up with the news, and then ever since then, my kind of love for the game has kind of shifted a bit because of the new adjustments to the game. But with Halo 5's announcement today, I'm pretty excited for it because it's still a big mystery. We don't know much about it.
Well, Joe, you run TeamBeyond.net. You guys have been covering all competitive console first-person shooters for a while now, starting back with the Halo days. Now you're covering Titanfall, Call of Duty as well. But really, you started with Halo. You were a Halo player. I remember calling your name out for the free-for-alls in the team tournaments as well. What's your position here from running a content site that covers competitive shooters?
Well, it's definitely really good news. Like you said, Halo's been kind of falling off competitive-wise. With the last, I thought it fell off with Reach, started falling off with Reach, and then Halo 4 just kind of took a nosedive,
Yeah.
It's definitely, I think a lot of the stuff going on with Call of Duty as far as the eSports side of things with Call of Duty Champs and, MLG doing a really good job running the circuit. It's kind of alerting everybody in the console side of things eSports is actually really popular. So I'm really hoping that, every new Halo game has that hype, with the new release, but I'm really hoping they put a new kind of focus on the competitive side of things for this next game.
I like it. Guys, before we get too far, I want to take a step back. And for anyone who may have missed this, Halo was announced originally that it's going to be coming out for the Xbox One at last year's E3. They had a nice short video. And in case you guys missed it, here it is one more time. It is the Halo Xbox One trailer from E3 2013. All right. Begin in 2014. Well, it sounds like after today's release that there will be some new news coming up at this year's E3. Of course, E3 coming down the week after the X Games for everyone who will be watching all of that. Now, a new poster came out with this, guys, and I want to get your feedback. Of course, we saw Master Chief walking through the sand. Some giant metallic sand monster comes out. He grabs some dog tags. But everyone will notice here, Master Chief is at the bottom with an assault rifle. Now, above it, it's a skinnier Spartan with a battle rifle. Halo 5 Guardians is the name. Joe, when you first saw this, what were your initial thoughts? What do you think we can get out of this initial picture?
Well, I thought it was sort of, not to go all lore master on everyone, but I thought it was sort of like Master Chief's like alter ego or something. And then people were thinking it was like Cortana or something like that. But it's been confirmed that this is actually a new character on the cover. People were kind of thinking it was, there's all kinds of, because the Halo story is really like extensive. So there's all kinds of things I guess it could possibly be. So people are kind of going insane. My initial thought, I didn't know what it was, man. I was like, why is Master Chief just, chilling on the bottom? You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't it must be pretty important if it's kind of taking the spotlight of the cover, right? Those are my initial thoughts on it.
Yeah, I was a little bit weirded out there, and I was like, this is kind of a skinnier Spartan. Is it a she-Spartan? I saw some conspiracy theories on the forum. FlameSword, how much of this have you seen? Have you read the full article on it?
Yeah, I've been reading pretty much the article and keeping up with it. My initial thought was that it was a Cortana type of thing. Cortana was just coming into a Spartan, robotic, or whatever, what they're going to kind of do with it. But yeah, like Joe said, they have announced that it is just a new character. But those are my initial thoughts on it.
And Anton, my producer, just told me that Frankie yesterday confirmed it is not a she. Looks like a new dude Spartan. We know that much. Well, guys, here's some of the information that you guys may have missed if you didn't read the post. Last year, of course, the trailer came out in 2013. Today's article confirms that the game is due to arrive fall 2015. Now, lots of old Halo pros are going to be working on this game, and these are some of the guys that FlameSword used to compete with. Same with you, Saucy. We have Ghostyami and Neighbor now over there with Dursky and Bravo. We also have some old MLG staff over there. Of course, the former Halo pros, Neighbor, Bravo, Dursky, and Ghostyami. Bravo taking on that community manager role. Ghostyami trying to work on the multiplayer side with Neighbor and Dursky. Now, Lennox is also over there, my old switcher. He is going to be working, it sounds like, on the video team now. He has 7 years of experience, of course, in eSports. He's been very happy over at 343 in the last few weeks. Now, I've heard some other good things. We, of course, know Quinn Del Hoyo, who used to work on Gears of War multiplayer, did a phenomenal job with the Gears series. He's made the move over towards the end of the last Halo 4, and now he'll be working on Halo 5 from the beginning. And in Halo 5, here are a few things I'm really excited about. It'll be 1920 by 1080, a new engine, 60 frames per second, with dedicated servers and many more features, all stated in that article. What are you guys hoping for? What are you expecting with the new title? I'll let you go first, Joe.
All right. Well, like you said, all the hires there have been sort of insane to me. All the competitive hires there. And then you said, like Lennox, right? He got hired there. And that's huge, man. I think all of his experience is what, like competitive, production with MLG, right?
Yeah, all broadcast, really, yeah.
Right, yeah, and it's that's really exciting to me. And then you have the team there, like you said, Neighbor, Ghost, Bravo, Dursky, Quinn Del Hoyo. He definitely knows what he's doing, smart guy. And then one person who's really underrated there that not a lot of people know about him a little bit, but the guy there, his name's Josh. Josh Menke, I believe is how you pronounce. All he does is ranks. And I believe he worked on the StarCraft ladder ranking system or something like that.
Which is huge, because if he truly is the same guy who built Blizzard's ranking system for StarCraft 2, that is beyond. Like, Halo 2 was the best, in my opinion. It was one of the hardest ranking systems, but nothing touches StarCraft 2's rankings.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a huge, everybody kind of there together like that. it's just crazy, man. Like, to think of what could possibly be coming next with all those guys, all these talented people in the same area working, and think about what's next.
I'm excited. Now, FlameSword, you, of course, were there. You saw the peak of Halo here at MLG back in Halo 3. That was kind of our heyday, the commentating glory days for some of the most exciting action that I can remember casting. But then you also were there for the fall-off of Halo in the competitive scene. What do you think were some of the major key changes that were made to the game that affected it on the competitive level, and what would you like to see changed with Halo 5?
I think some of the declines, or what kind of drove people away, was the addition of like kind of sprint. Halo was never had sprint for the first 3 Halos, and all of a sudden for Halo Reach, they decided to bring that in. Also, Bloom for Halo Reach kind of threw everyone off guard, and as we saw in Halo 4, they've removed it because not that many people enjoyed it. But I think the sprint's the biggest part, and then followed with, because of making sprint, they ended up now making larger maps, where the maps just felt a little bigger because you just had to sprint all over the places. I think they had to go kind of back into the Halo 2, Halo 3 mindset, where like players like myself who have been around the industry for a while know that like Halo 2 maps were kind of made for 2v2 game types, but it ended up being fantastic for 4v4 game types. So I feel like the designers' mindsets had to maybe go into the 2v2, 3v3 mindset, and then let us experiment kind of in the 4v4s. And that's what's great about having Dursky, Neighbor, Ghost Ayami, and all those big names that are working at 343 now. Those are people that were at the heart of Halo when it was at its prime. And so now that they're working for 343, I think it's going to be huge. They're motivated. They want to see the game come back alive, and they're just going to be putting in the time and hard work. So I'm excited for it.
And this is one quote that got me really excited. And I have no idea if it applies to what all of us competitive kids are hoping it applies to, but this is from Bonnie Ross at 343. Halo 5, it's a game that will hopefully demonstrate the talent, learnings, and abilities of the 343 Industries team. A game that will incorporate the things we learned from Halo 4 about technology, aesthetics, performance, and scale, and perhaps more importantly, understanding and embracing a community of gamers who love what lies at the heart of the game and the limitless potential of the Halo universe. Now, I read into that being really hopeful, thinking maybe we're going to go back to the roots. What is the hardcore core of Halo? And that was, to me, grenades, gunfire, and simple basic maps and map movement. It wasn't any complicated. It wasn't jetpacks. It wasn't camo. It wasn't cloaking, anything like that other than pickups that you could get in the game. So I'm wondering, what direction is she talking about? Is she really just talking about the core of the Halo universe there? Saucy, what would you like to see Halo 5 turn out to be? What would you remove from the previous Halos or add in to the next Halo?
I think Halo needs to get away from the cheesiness. I feel like all the extra features, like FlameSword was saying, like sprint, bloom, armor abilities, all of it's just sort of cheese to me, like you were talking about cloak. I mean, like camo is a little bit different, but I'm talking like Halo's an arena shooter, I just feel like sprinting and things like that don't really have a place in there. What I would like to see is kind of it getting back to its roots, like you said, getting some features that almost every game has now. Like you look at Call of Duty, they're just killing it, man. Like spectator mode, you have in Black Ops 2, the ranking system and league play and these huge events and, developer support. And it's just insane. And it really kind of blew the lid off of what, could really be done in this day and age with streaming and Twitter and all these guys as far as esports goes. So I'm hoping that, 343 really is taking note of that. And hopefully we can see something pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to be showing just some B-roll kind of through the years here at MLG. Right now it's some video of Saiyan playing back when he was on Final Boss versus Carbon. This is the Halo 2 days. Awesome days there. But back then, there was no spectator mode. There still isn't. And because of this, we had to do a post-produced TV show. Now we're able to do these live events. I'm able to broadcast Call of Duty any night of the week. And I feel like spectator mode is obviously something that has really gotten the attention of a lot of developers out there. I'm hoping this time around, unlike in the past Halo, we will have the ability to broadcast some games live. Now, looking back, let's take a look at all of Halo's timeline. Starting way back in 2001, that's when Halo CE was first launched. These are all Halo titles in the Halo franchise. After Halo CE, we saw Halo 2 launched in 2004, 3 years later on November 9th. Halo 3 came out 2007. Halo Wars and RTS, they took it that direction in 2009, the same year that Halo 3 ODST launched. And FlameSword, do you really remember what was different about Halo 3 ODST and Halo 3?
The biggest difference was just the disc had every single map, including the DLC maps. You could just play it right off the disc instead of playing it off your hard drive. ODST also had a campaign mode, but at the end of the day, everyone got it really just to have the maps on the disc, and so the game would play smoother.
And from ODST, we went to Halo Reach. Now, this was September 14, 2010. The Halo CE anniversary came and went without anyone noticing. November 15th of 2011, it wasn't really Halo CE. Despite trying to bring back the maps, that one was a major disappointment for a lot of competitive fans. But from there, we went to Halo 4 in 2012. And last year, we saw a mobile game, Halo Spartan Assault, only for Windows phones. And now Guardians coming out in 2015. Looking at that list, I remember the glory days. 2001, Halo CE, you couldn't play online. That sucked. So Halo 2 came out, and I thought that was possibly the greatest. You had Xbox Live. You had a really powerful ranking system. Everyone was fighting for their 50s. Maybe the most competitive of the Halo games before we saw a game like Halo 3 come out where, in my opinion, you couldn't get a double kill unless you had a perfectly placed grenade or if you had a buddy backing you up. I really felt like that was kind of the direction that it went. FlameSword, I know you kind of hit your peak in the later Halo games. Would you like to see the Halo 3 style game come back? Would you like to see Halo 1? What would you like to see in the next title?
I would like to see the dynamic of the team play in Halo 3 come back. I think that was one of the coolest things about Halo 3. It became more of a team game since it wasn't as easy to get individual multi-kills. I'm also looking forward for it to come back to the Halo 2, though, where you do have that individual skill that if you do outplay an opponent, your team benefits out of it strongly, and then you can make a better push and not that. So I would like to see the combination of fast kills from Halo 2 combined with the Halo 3 teamwork aspects of it, and basically Halo 3 maps. I thought the Halo 3 and Halo 2 maps were the best maps I've ever played on, and
midship.
Really, yeah, midship. Midship's all you got to announce, lockout. And if one thing I could ask for is for grenades to bounce like they used to bounce in Halo 2 and Halo 3, where if you throw them off the floor, you know they're going to go X amount of feet in the air, and it's not like the floor is a sponge and it just eats your grenade.
Right.
That'd be one huge thing I would want added back to the game.
And, melees. I miss the old school, not super lunge melees.
Little button combo melees, possibly, if they could add to the game that, allowed people to master them, and, whoever practiced it more could get better at them. That would be cool. Halo 2's BXR, BXB, Halo 1's BXB, double fast melees. That would be awesome.
Little quick camo action. I would love to see the old school camo and overshields, pickups that you would have to fight for.
Especially the time, too, where they're always consistent like that, so you're always battling. I think that was a great feature of Halo 1, that something always was popping up, so you had to be battling. You can't just be standing one position the entire game.
And would you want the battle rifle to be the primary weapon or the pistol?
Battle rifle for sure.
Wrong answer, but I appreciate it.
Nah, you're the Halo 1 guy. I know you want me to say the pistol, but Halo 2, Halo 3, just playing with the battle rifle for those 2 years in a row, it just felt great, especially if we could get the Halo 2 style VR for sure.
I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. A lot of excitement around Halo 5. We'll keep you up to date on that. Of course, you can also follow TeamBeyond.net. Joe Bentley, and his crew will be updating you. It's got a lot of great guys. Joe, who is still around from the old school MLG days over at Team Beyond?
On staff, we have Siren. He's pretty big, on the forums. I'm pretty sure he worked at MLG events as well, doing some stuff with VOD, if I recall correctly.
Good old Ray. Yep, of course.
Yeah, Ray. There's a lot of guys that still hang around on the forums. I'm trying to think of people you may know, if you know, Cursed Lemon, and I know Bravo's posting on the forums, and I think Julian Rocker, I think he worked at MLG a couple of events.
Right.
There's still a lot of people, and then the pros that still hang around, Nated. There's still some old school guys hanging around. But yeah, if there's one thing I've seen is that the Halo community and the people who are still sticking around, kind of waiting for a competitive game, is that the community is pretty hungry, man, for a competitive game.
Absolutely.
We've just been sitting here. We've been watching things like, you know, we had to watch Black Ops 2 the entire time, right? And it was awesome. Like, don't get me wrong, it was awesome. But then you kind of think back to like, well, why can't Halo do that? Halo can do that. Why not? You know? So if there's still a lot of old school guys around, there's still a lot of people hanging around. But yeah, everybody's for sure Halo community's pretty hungry for a competitive title.
I love it. Well, 343, if you ever need some advice on how to do a broadcaster mode, I know a guy with a lot of experience. Give me a ring. FlameSword, before we go, I got to put you on the hot seat. And Joe, same thing goes for you. Who is the greatest Halo player in MLG's history of competition? Joe, I'm making you go first.
Greatest Halo player of MLG's
competitive history.
Dude, that's such a tough one, man.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just... Can I just do the cop-out? Ogre 2's the GOAT, most wins?
You can go with the cop-out. I'm coming back to you for a second when think about that. FlameSword?
Okay.
So I was about to go with the cop-out Ogre 2 too as well. But if everything was to stand its course, as in there were consistent Halo tournaments, in my opinion, Pistola would have passed up Ogre 2 and would have been known as the GOAT of MLG, in my opinion. You're
calling the young gun to keep on that path of winning. You know, I think towards the end, Pistola was definitely rivaling Ogre 2 for that top spot. He's getting old, man. He's getting old. Joe, coming back to you for a non-Ogre 2 answer.
Anybody but Ogre 2?
Yep.
I don't know, man. Maybe best Halo player. I mean, Pistola is definitely a good choice, but I can't steal that one now. I always thought Walshy was really good. Maybe didn't have the greatest stats, but I always thought the guy was like a genius, you know? Like
right.
he came up with all the strategies, and he was kind of like leading his team during the one of the most competitive Halo games that we've had, and all the way through, you know, like Halo 1 as well. I just thought he's definitely up there, right with Ogre 2 for me, for sure.
I like it. Well, Ogre 2, officially MLG's winningest player of all time. He started taking money from kids back in 2003, continued that all the way until the ripe age of 27. So, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. FlameSword, can you break the news on Optic Halo yet?
It will be released in 30 minutes at Optic FS. YouTube.com, Optic FS. It will be released. The roster.
I'm bringing you on next week. We'll talk about it more. Thank you guys for coming on the show. You can catch Saucy Sores over at teambeyond.net. FlameSword, part of the Optic crew there, hanging out in the house, keeping them healthy, and starting a new Halo team. Check out his YouTube in 30 minutes. We'll be back talking about Call of Duty. Also, an MLG versus McNugget challenge. Coley Roll is putting the brand on the line. Can he represent us well? We'll find out at 5 p.m. Quick commercial break. When we return, Nifty Sprints at Elevate have an important pickup. We'll tell you who it is and how it's going down after this.